All right, here's some help to just pick up where we left off at the end of class. This is number 20, finding out what things are equal to, finding x, y, and z when you're dealing with these. It doesn't say that this is a centroid, but it really is, because you have midpoints P, J, and L, and those are connected to the opposite vertex, and you guys know that happens to be a centroid by definition, and those are medians, and when they meet at the centroid, it breaks up that median into two parts, where the top part is twice as big as the bottom part. And another way to think about that is the median has a long part and a short part. The long part is 2/3 the whole length of the median. The short part is 1/3 the length of the median. Those are another ways to represent that. Well, anyway, we'll use each of those ideas here as we solve. The first thing is, the one I did in class is I said, hey, that top piece 7 is equal to 2 times 2 minus x, because 7 is the long piece on top, and 2x minus 6 is the short piece on the bottom. We take 2 of the short pieces to equal the long piece, which is 7. And so you can solve for x, and that's what I'll do here. Distribute the 2, and you'll see x is 4.75, which you see over on the left, by the way the answers are in these pictures that I give you here. So the next, or you could have done, hey, 7, that long piece divided by 2 is equal to the short piece, 2x minus 6. So 7 halves divided in half, and you equal that to 2x minus 6. You get the same thing. So here's a quick run through that. Get the algebra, same, x equals 4.75 when you're done. Then you're looking for z. Z is the same idea. You can say, all right, the top piece 4, the long piece 4, is, we take 2 of the little pieces 2z to equal 4. Or you could say, if I take the long piece 4 and divide it by 2, that would be equal to the short piece 2z. Both of those equations will work. You can solve for z. The one on the left, if I distribute the 2, make it 4z, z equals 1. Same with the one on the right. Z, you can see on the right, is equal to 1. Now, the last one, solving for y, hey, pretty easy. I got the short piece 3. That means the long piece on top, y is 6. Next page. You have to draw this picture. It says complete each statement for triangle RST. So I drew a rough one there. You can draw it anywhere. I have a nicer one on the next page that'll help you. But if you're just roughing it out, you just draw a triangle, and it says, all right, I have medians RM. Well, I have vertex R, but I don't have a midpoint M, but I need to make one of those. Then I have SL, and then I have TK, and it just says those are medians. So you know they go to the midpoint of the opposite side, and centroid J, so you label the centroid where they meet J. Well, let's clean this up and make it look a little better. Here's a nice triangle RST. There are those 3 medians. There are things we know about those medians. Remember, a median goes to the midpoint of the opposite side. Then we can answer the questions. So one of them was SL is equals to X, like some number times JL. Basically, it's saying how many JLs does it take to make SL? Something. So you have to look at the picture. I've highlighted SL, the whole median, and I'm looking at JL, I highlighted in green, as part of the median. And hey, we know that it takes, JL is pretty small. It takes 3 JLs, because it's to make a full SL. So in this case, x equals 3. It's just an idea of how many JLs does it take, because it's 1/3 of, it would take 3 of them. Next one is, the question is JT equals x times TK. I highlighted JT in blue and TK in red. And I talked to you right at the end of class that there's a pretty good, one way you can look at this median stuff is you say the long piece, like JT is the long piece of the broken up median, is equal to 2/3 the whole median, and that's what KT is. So x in this case is 2/3. So take a look at that, see if you can make some sense of it via the picture, and anything else, let me know how I can help. Next is 24. These are given values. 2x plus 7 and 3x plus 13. So I always label first. That's the first thing I do. By BC being an altitude, on this, what we have to find out is what kind of equation can I write from that? And because BC is an altitude, we've got a little right triangle down in the corner. So let me see if I can zoom in and make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. There's a right angle here. That's BC is an altitude. Would touch at the, doesn't touch in any midpoint or anything, it's just at 90 degrees to that. And then we got the label, it says find the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. With that being 90 degrees, this is a little tough way to figure this out. What happens is, actually, if you turn this around a little bit, this problem here, it turns out this angle right here is also 90 degrees. So for now, would you just roll with this, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow in class. We'll just say that's 90 degrees here, because I'll tell you why a little bit later. You can add those two equations together equals to be 90 degrees, and some of you know why. And then you solve from there, and you get x. If x is 70, and if you put x back in for either one of those angles, angle 1 or angle 2, I'd do it in angle 1, 2 times 14. If you put it in there, then you get 28 plus 7 more, you get 35. So that's where that comes from. All right, to the next problem, 25. AC is the left leg, CD is the right leg. Label them carefully, or DC. And what you notice is they're marked congruent, so you can set them equal. So setting them equal is one part of it, you get x. But the question is, find the measure of ECA, the angle ECA. And it's nice to know that'd be a good thing to know. Well, you can use x anywhere. I can put x into that angle ECA if I want. I can use, let's finish this by the way, x is 6. So I can put 6 in for the angle ECA, find out what that's equal to, and then answer all the other questions once you have x. So that's the next question is it an altitude? And the answer is no, because ECA, the angle in question that would be an altitude, is not 90 degrees, but instead it is 92 degrees. Hope that helps, and do email with questions.